All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this is a little bit of an update video for my Quickdraw deck profile, as well as we're going to be talking about the 40-man event that we had a couple weeks back. I know this video is a little bit late. I'm sorry. A lot of things came up and, I had to dedicate time to those rather than the YouTube channel. So I do apologize, but we're here, we're going over it, and, we're getting back on track. So we're going to be going over that, and then we're just going to go a slight little bit of a tangent for the LA Regional that happened this past weekend, September 30th, and kind of discuss some of the stuff that happened there. So let's go ahead and jump into the 40-man real quick. So the 40-man, it was a resounding success. The event, it was a lot of fun. We did very, very well. I believe we started off 3-0. We lost our first game to Diva Frogs, to our boy Sean. We won a couple more games after that, and then eventually lost our second game going into the last round of Swiss. We did eventually lose to the person that actually won the whole event. So, kind of a little bittersweet. And it's like, oh, okay, I lost, but I lost to someone that won the whole event, knocked us out of playoff, or knocked us out of top cut. I do believe we probably would have been able to make it to top cut. However, there was an unfortunate draw that did happen in the last round. So I think possibly if there was no draw there, there's a good shot that we make it in and we come in at 8th, because we did finish the tournament at 9th. So, just one shot at top 8. And then going into the LA Regional, I was hoping to, go in, win a couple lad mats, maybe even some nimble hamster mats if they had them. But unfortunately, we showed up. I remember when they announced that they were starting the side events, there was easily over 120 people in line to play side events, and almost all of them, like 95% of them, were there to go ahead and play Edison, or at least Time Wizard formats. Majority was Edison, and they ran out of the lad mats very, very quickly, and then they eventually swapped over to the Dark Magician girl with Yugi in the middle. I can pull up a picture on the screen. And yeah, no one really wanted those mats, so a lot of the hype for the side events died down very quickly. And yeah, it kind of dwindled from there. It also kind of sucked that they only had one person really doing the side event signups, and there was no online registration for it, which was a bit of a bummer. I feel like that definitely could have been done a lot better, but it is what it is. It happened, and we're gonna hope that the next live event that I go to is better managed and is able to handle the load of people that are coming for side events. So without going too deep into that, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the deck profile. So for right now, we are still running triple Quickdraw sync on. All right, cutting this down to 2 feels like shit. I'm not doing it ever again. It's gonna stay at 3, even if I brick with it constantly, like I must always do. This card will never come down to 2 ever again, unless I'm going into the side, and maybe I might side one out if I'm going second, just because I'm gonna want some of my other cards that I'm siding in. But yeah, no, that's about that. And then we got the 3 shell that we're still running. Milling shell, or starting off with shell, either way is great. Deck thins and goes ahead and gets you into your drill warrior even faster. I honestly cannot imagine playing this deck without the shells in there, unless I can find some other way to go ahead and get some free resources. We are still running double debris, double dandy, double lone fire. And for those of you that saw it from my other list, I am still running the double titanium. This card actually comes up way more often than I honestly thought it was going to when I first put it in. Being able to get that first one out, and they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then they aren't really able to kill my other lone fire, or I have drill warrior going, so I'm able to get this back, bring it back, and then I bring out another titanium. More often than not, that instantly leads to a win and the opponent scooping, and then now they have to kind of prepare for 2. So I like 2. It is a brick, I understand, but I'm playing a little ballsy, and I'm loving the two thus far. Let's see, we're still playing one hamster, triple Ryko, pretty standard. These might come out for some other cards. There's another list I'm looking at to making. I'll go ahead and make a list or make a deck list for that later, whenever I eventually do try it out. But these might all come out for some other cards to be shown later. But yeah, no, that's pretty standard. We are still running triple Caius. It's just too good in the format. Why not run 3? We still got the Gores, got Card Trooper, we got Sangan, and then the real MVP of the deck, Treeborn Frog. All right, this card. All right, this is one of the ones I picked up this past weekend. Like, just, the light's not doing it justice, but like the ripples, like in the light, you can see it. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. Now I finally have my third, because I was having to rip one of my ultis from my frog deck, and now that I was able to pick this up at the event, now I have one ulti in here, and then my frog deck, I have my 2 ultis, and I'm not having to run the Dusa. You know, for all those that hate the Dusa, I'm right there with you. It looks terrible. Like the foiling does not look good at all. So that's it for the monsters. Going into spells and traps, you got to do it. There's no way you cannot do it. You got to run triple Avers. All right, cutting this down to 2 feels like shit. All right, let's just leave it like that. If you're only running 2 in the main, you're gonna mill it, and it's gonna feel terrible, and you're gonna wish you had that third. Sometimes I do side one of these out going into game 2 and 3, depending on like how I'm feeling. But more often than not, this always stays at 3, and there's no reason not to run 3. We're still running the 1 smash in the main. The card is just way too good, especially going into game 1. Just being able to out problematic cards. It doesn't target as well, so it's just a free Raigeki break or on a monster. We are still running the 1 MST and the 1 Foolish. Foolish is great for Treeborn. It's also great for Dandy, mainly Treeborn, especially if Caius in hand. MST is self-explanatory, and then as you can see, that's it for the spells. I'm still not running the Heavy Storm. There's been maybe a handful of occasions within the past couple months to where maybe it's come up, but for the most part, it doesn't come up as often as it normally does. So I feel kind of strongly not running it. I know I'm gonna get roasted in the comments for not running it, but you know what? Suck it. I'm enjoying it. It's been working out fine for me. And you know, if you play me, maybe I might have put it in. Who knows? For traps, we're still running Mirror Force, Torrential. We are still running the Solemn. I know in some of my previous videos, people brought up, it's like, hey, Solemn, you're already really low on life points. Does like the Solemn like hurt you at all? It does, which is why most of the time it comes out for games 2 and 3, especially if I'm going second. This card immediately comes out. But being able to just deal with problematic cards, or you know, your opponent just has an answer to like your Drill Warrior or like turn 1, and you're just able to stop it and like keep your roll going. It's just too good. It does hurt sometimes. I have lost games because of it, but you know, I think the ends justify the means, so we keep it in. We still got the Call of the Haunted. We also have Divine Wrath. All right. Oh, another card that's just been coming in absolutely clutch for us. Being able to just go ahead and deal with problematic cards. Herald of Orange Light, Christia, you know, the works, Collude, Honest, just all Tragodia, Gores. Any of those just really problematic cards. Dark Arm Dragon, Bryonic, like it's just a good universal card. I think more people should play it. I'm happy that most people aren't playing it, because it means most people aren't expecting it, which means I get to abuse the hell out of it. Oh, so great, so beautiful. We are still running 1 Raigeki, 1 Dust, and we're still running the double Yada. All right. These might come out at some point. I don't know yet. These might come out. But for the time being, I really like having the extra draw power, and also having to be able to set one of these. Your opponent swings in, you're like, oh, okay. When you declare attack Yada, I'll draw a card, I'll drop Gores and damage step, and then they're just like, dope, 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 fantastic, great, great, thank you, thank you. Now you're probably gonna win the game. I'm like, yeah, I most definitely am. All All right, then from there, we're going to go into the extra deck. We're still running one Chimera. All right, we're still running the one Chimera. We are running the one card that I can never bring out, ever, because my opponent scoops before I can bring it out, the Trident Dragon. All right, like, I've tried to bring this card out, I don't even know how many times, but I just never get the chance to because people scoop. We were running a double Stardust. This honestly might come out for another Stardust in all actuality. We got the one Red Dragon, one Ancient Fairy, one Black Rose. We got the Iron Chain, Nitro Warrior. This is another card I'm thinking about bringing up to 2 in the extra deck. It's actually been coming up a lot more now in recent weeks than it has in like the past year. So I'm thinking about bumping this up. I am running 2 Nitro Warriors, and I think this might be one of the cards that I'm cutting to go ahead and put in another Nitro Warrior, just because this is nice. It's good versus frogs, but like this being able to swing, possibly get the boost, and then go ahead and hit another monster and switch it to attack is just it's kind of strong. All right, I'm just gonna put it like that. That's a lot of damage, and they can't gores. So, you know, beautiful. And then we are running the triple Drill Warrior. I have tried it at 2, and it just feels wrong. And like most of the time they'll out 2 of them. They're like, oh, he doesn't run the 3rd. And I'm like, Drill Warrior. And they're like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, no, I 100% am. And then we got our Dandy tokens. One of my buddies, you know, we got Happy Danny when he's happy and, you know, he's winning his games. And then we also have the Sad Danny. All right, this is when he gets absolutely rocked in his duels, especially when he's losing to our buddy Albert. And then of course we have you know, some of our waifus for the most part. And that's about it for the extra deck. Now let's go into the side where there's maybe a little bit of sauce. All right, just a little bit. We do have the one Regeki in the side, so that way we can go ahead and bring this in if we need it. We also have the extra dust. You know, most of the time these kind of come in going into game. If we're going first, these are most likely coming in. We got double pulling, double bottomless. One of the most disgusting cards that I've started using. Chain Disappearance. It's just too good. If anyone doesn't know what it does, here, I'll bring it up the screen a little bit closer. Yeah, whenever your opponent summons anything with 1,000 or less, banish every single copy of it from their hand and deck. So yeah, if they summon Diva and you're like, all right, Chain Disappearance, you hit every single Diva, they have to bring out a Gilman. If they they special summon evil, what is it? Evil Hero, the level 2 that you can just special out, you hit all of them in the deck. Oh, they want to summon Swamp Frog? Banish all the ones in the deck. Like, oh, it's just too good. It hits a lot of the main decks, a lot of the top decks right now, at least in my opinion. We are running the one Soul Release. All right, Soul Release, really good card. It's also one of the reasons why I'm only running one DD Crow, but we'll get to that later. Here's another one of the spice cards that we're putting in. We are running one creature swap. I think this might come up to 2 in future events. I'm still testing it right now, but the theory is going second. I can just go ahead and summon something, take their like problematic card, most likely Vanity's Fiend or like Christia, and then just go ahead and now I have control of the game. We're running the second Smashing. We're running the 2 Cyber Dragon, and then we're running 1 Lila, and then the 1 DD Crow. I'm only running the one Crow for one reason, is because Drill Warrior can go ahead and keep on getting this back, and I can just keep on abusing it constantly. Also, I'm running the Soul Release, so like it's a little redundant, I feel like, to run multiples of this. The Lila is just something to avoid deck dev, and it's also something I can summon and then go ahead and like pop like Oppression or pop a back row that I think I might have a read on. And then, you know, double Cyber Dragon, because, you know, Cyber Dragon is just a very good going second card. This is another card I picked up at the event. It's so pretty. Look at that. Oh, just so beautiful. Easily worth the $50 that I spent. Easily worth it. and it's like almost, it's near mint essentially. But I don't know. That's about it. We had a few cards in there that we changed, but for the most part, it's kind of the same for my last list outside of like, I think maybe like 4 or 5 cards, possibly. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to go ahead and like the video. And if you like this kind of content and you like quick draw content, definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe. If you guys have any ideas whatsoever for me to go ahead and maybe tech in, or you know, maybe some other decks you guys would like to see in person played, do let me know down in the comments below, so that way I can go ahead and get some people at the shop to play them, or I myself will play them, and we'll go ahead and get them recorded. So yeah, thank you all very much. Have a good one, and I will see you guys later this week. Deuces.